Today, we are going to use the elimination process to solve systems of equations. As you can see here, in our two equations that were given, we can't easily substitute one variable in for another, and we can't easily make a table without reordering our equations. However, if you look at our equations, both of them have a 5x. So we can get rid of our x's by multiplying one equation by -1. This creates an equivalent equation. It just looks different. You can multiply either one by -1. I'm going to do the top one so I can rewrite it below it, and then I can add my two equations together. Notice how when I added the equations together, I used the signs in front of the numbers. So I actually did 5x plus -5x and 8y minus 17y and -26 minus 1. I wrote out the 5x minus 5x equals 0x. I typically don't, but I did this time so you could see what I got. Then you just simplify your equation and solve for y. Now that I know what y is, I need to go back and figure out what x is to figure out my coordinate pair. I can choose either equation to plug y into. I chose the bottom one just because where I plugged in the y, it would give me smaller numbers. So you plug in 3 for y, simplify your equation, and solve for x. Once I solved for x, I know that my coordinate pair that satisfies both equations is -10, 3. To solve this equation using the elimination process, I can see that none of my coefficients in front of my variables are the same. So I need to look for relationships between the numbers. So I'm going to start with my x's. And I notice that I can multiply the 3 times -2 to get to -6, which is what I need to eliminate that variable. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by -2 and rewrite out my equivalent equation below before adding the equations together. Once I add my equations together, I've eliminated my x and I just have y left, so I can solve for y, and I find out that y equals 2. Now that I know what y is, I can go back and solve for x. Once again, I can pick any equation. I chose the top one once again, plugged in my value of 2 for y, simplified the equation and solved, and discovered that x equals 5. Knowing this, I know that my coordinate point that solves both these equations is 5, 2.